31.1 Surah Luqman, the wise man Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Sufi Essence with Hammad Syed, Kanzul Iman. Quran Luqman, the wise man, chapter 31, verses 1 to 5. We embark upon a new and profoundly illuminating spiritual odyssey, initiating our study into the very heart of the majestic 31st surah of the Holy Quran, a revelation graced with the noble distinctive title, Surah Luqman. This chapter holds a unique and highly distinguished position within the entire divine book, for its timeless teachings are anchored not primarily in the magnificent narrative of a prophet of Allah, but in the transcendental, penetrating wisdom and unparalleled virtuous character of an exemplary figure whom the Creator chose to immortalize with the designation, the Wise Man. This surah, which was revealed during the Meccan period, consisting of 34 verses in its complete form, emerged during a pivotal, challenging phase in the early life of the Muslim community. It was a time defined by the relentless, profound intellectual, ethical, and spiritual struggle that systematically pitted the pure, unifying and uncompromising message of Tawhid, the absolute, non-negotiable oneness of Allah, against the deeply entrenched, ancient polytheism, widespread superstitions, and general spiritual and intellectual heedlessness of the powerful Meccan aristocracy. The essential purpose of this foundational section of the surah is elegantly dual, yet perfectly integrated. It seeks to establish the fundamental, unassailable, and eternal truths of Islamic belief, and concurrently, to meticulously define the ethical and moral parameters of a righteous, fulfilling life through the luminous, practical example of those who strive to achieve spiritual excellence. We shall witness firsthand how this magnificent dual focus, the cosmic, majestic arguments for the Creator's unchallenged power, and the profound practical instructions for virtuous, grounded living, provides an infinitely rich, boundless source of ilm, a divine knowledge that is designed specifically to cultivate a human soul, grounded simultaneously in deep conscious contemplation, Yaqeen certainty, and consistent, dedicated righteous action. The sublime, eloquent articulation of the Quran now commences the unwrapping of this magnificent, multi-layered wisdom, inviting the listener into a deeper realm of spiritual understanding. Kanzul, Iman, Quran. Luqman, the wise man. Chapter 31, verses 1 to 2. Alif Lam Mim. These are the verses of the wise book. The surah commences with the mysterious, yet powerfully resonating alphabetical introduction known as the Muqatta'at, the enigmatic, disconnected letters, Alif Lam Mim. This cryptic and profound opening, shared by several other pivotally important surahs, is a deliberate, potent statement that continues to challenge, refine, and consequently elevate human intellectual and spiritual inquiry across all generations. Its inclusion signifies a deep, fundamental truth. While the Holy Quran is structurally composed of the very letters, words, and linguistic elements familiar to and used by mankind in their daily discourse, its complete and ultimate meaning, its compositional perfection, its unfathomable depth of content, and its miraculous, unchallengeable inimitability remain entirely beyond the exhaustive total comprehension of any single human intellect. This is a subtle, yet crushing declaration that the ill being delivered to humanity transcends all earthly constraints, linguistic limitations, and cognitive boundaries, thereby serving as an immediate and perpetual proof of its definitive, unassailable, divine origin. It functions as an initial, powerful reminder that we are engaging with a source of knowledge that is infinitely deeper, more complex, and more layered than any product of mere human thought or genius. The very form of the revelation declares its transcendence. Immediately following this profound initial challenge to human understanding, the divine revelation is characterized with a most significant and central descriptor, the wise book Al-Keb, Al-Hakam. This appellation is immensely significant, acting as the thematic cornerstone for the entire surah's subsequent theological and moral trajectory. The core concept being emphasized is wisdom hikmah. The Quran is thus presented as being far more than a simple collection of prescriptive rules, historical accounts, or legal statutes. It is, in its essence, the absolute, ultimate repository of supreme, flawless wisdom. It is unerringly perfect in its moral and ethical judgments, unassailable in its logical proofs and cosmic arguments. It's perfectly balanced in its structural organization and eternally resonant in its truth and applicability. Everything it decrees or narrates is fundamentally and unbreakably rooted in an all-encompassing, universal, and divine logic that seamlessly governs the entire cosmos, the fate of nations, and the subtle workings of the human moral universe. To sincerely embrace this book, to internalize its manifold message, and to allow its light to penetrate the deepest recesses of the Kalb heart is synonymous with possessing the very source of all true, beneficial, and lasting wisdom. Consequently, its consistent study, dedicated contemplation, sincere application are established as the noblest, most essential, and most rewarding pursuit of the human soul. This wisdom, hikmah, is not theoretical. It is an active, living, dynamic force designed to reshape all aspects of reality, both the inner state of the individual and the outer manifestation of community according to the perfect, unchallengeable divine blueprint. Kanzul Iman, Quran, Luqman, the Wise Man, chapter 31, verse 3, a guidance and a mercy for the virtuous. The wise book, the very testament to supreme divine wisdom, is subsequently and magnificently characterized by its magnificent, overarching dual purpose. It stands simultaneously as an infallible, luminous guidance Huda and an enveloping, profound mercy Rama. This powerful pairing of divine attributes is absolutely central to the complete Quranic understanding of the intimate and redemptive relationship between the Creator and the created. Guidance is the essential, indispensable spiritual light that actively directs the searching soul away from the inevitable, treacherous pitfalls of error, ignorance, and spiritual darkness, leading it firmly towards the luminous, designated path of Allah's pleasure and ultimate eternal success. Mercy is the deep, profound, and endlessly soothing balm that encompasses and protects the sincere believer, guarding them from the constant threat of despair, mitigating the effects of their inevitable human shortcomings, and ensuring that their continuous spiritual strivings, despite the inherent frailty and imperfections of human nature, are lovingly accepted and infinitely rewarded. This mercy is the gentle envelope of grace that makes the harsh demands of the guidance manageable. Crucially, the verse introduces the concept of spiritual selectivity and precondition. This magnificent, boundless treasure is not offered indiscriminately to all creation. It is revealed specifically and profoundly for the virtuous al-Muhsinin. The Muhsinin are those exemplary individuals who have consciously strived to attain, or who actively dwell in, the sublime spiritual station of Ihsan. This station is defined by the magnificent prophetic principle of striving to worship Allah with such profound, unwavering concentration, absolute spiritual awareness, and sincere commitment, as if one literally sees Him with the inner eye, or, failing that ultimate vision, with the absolute, unshakable certainty that He, the all-seeing and all-knowing, sees them in every moment. Their virtue is not an accidental event or a fleeting sentimental emotion. It is the active spiritual precondition that transforms the heart into a perfectly receptive, purified vessel, ready and able to absorb the Quran's penetrating wisdom and life-giving light. It is their internal preparedness, their moral excellence, and their sincere, earnest longing for truth that allows the guidance to effectively penetrate their consciousness and the mercy to fully envelop their entire being. Without this virtue, this commitment to sincerity and excellence, the book remains spiritually closed, its profound wisdom perhaps intellectually appreciated or studied, but fundamentally unassimilated into the texture of the soul. Kanzul Iman, Quran, Luqman, the Wise Man. Chapter 31, verse 4, who establish the prayer and pay the poor due. And in the hereafter, they are the ones who are certain. This majestic verse now provides the clear, practical, and highly tangible definition of the virtuous al-Muhsinin in the arena of daily, righteous action, brilliantly translating the lofty, sublime spiritual station of Ihsan into concrete, observable, and absolutely essential acts of worship and profound social responsibility. The Muhsinin are distinguished and identified by a powerful trilogy of core actions that together form the immovable structural pillars of their total lifelong commitment to Allah's path and pleasure. First, they consistently, meticulously, and dutifully establish the prayer Salat. This term implies far more than the simple, perfunctory performance of ritual movements. It refers to the consistent, highly conscious, and deeply focused maintenance of the primary, most vital spiritual link with the Creator. It is the spiritual discipline that ensures the heart kalb is regularly purified, recalibrated, and firmly aligned with the ultimate divine reality, acting as the indispensable spiritual anchor in a volatile, chaotic world. The constancy and quality of this communication defines their inner state. Second, they faithfully, generously, and consistently pay the poor due Zakat. This establishes the believer's essential social consciousness, their non-negotiable commitment to economic justice, and their absolute understanding of wealth as a temporary, sacred trust from Allah, not a personal, unburdened possession. It is the most tangible, visible manifestation of their inner spiritual perfection, expressed through their willingness to purify their accrued wealth and actively sustain the well-being and stability of the communal body. These first two actions are the absolute vertical and horizontal pillars of their fully expressed faith, a perfect, pure, and intentional connection with the Creator, and a profound, tangible, equitable compassion for His creation. The third defining characteristic, however, is purely intellectual, spiritual, and transcendent, and in the hereafter, they are the ones who are certain wahum bil kakirati hum kina. The state of absolute, unshakable certainty Yaqeen regarding the entire, inevitable reality of the hereafter is what definitively and conclusively distinguishes the truly virtuous. For them, the day of judgment, the magnificent promise of paradise, and the severe necessary warning of hell are not mere abstract, theoretical concepts or distant, vague possibilities held in reserve, but firm, compelling, and ultimately governing realities that fundamentally shape and inform their every single choice, decision, and moment of action. Their conviction is absolute, transforming their natural human emotions of hope and fear into the single, its most powerful and ultimate driving force behind their lifelong struggle for righteousness and spiritual excellence. This degree of certainty is rightly considered the very pinnacle of ilm, for it transcends mere intellectual belief to become an unwavering, fully lived, an entirely internalized truth within the deepest chamber of the kalb. It is the absolute conviction that their short life is a strategic, critical preparation for a permanent, eternal reality. Kanzul Iman Quran. Luqman, the wise man. Chapter 31, verse 5. These are on guidance from their Lord, and it is they who will attain their goals. This final, triumphant verse in the opening sequence delivers the magnificent, decisive conclusion, the ultimate and irrevocable divine guarantee of success for those who have embodied the profound qualities of the Muhsinin, defined in the preceding verses. The ultimate culmination of these unparalleled spiritual virtues, the disciplined, conscious establishment of prayer, the compassionate, equitable payment of Zakat, and the absolute, unshakable certainty of the eternal hereafters, the assurance of eternal triumph. The initial phrase, "These are on guidance from their Lord," is an explicit divine certification and validation of their path. It confirms that the totality of their chosen actions, their life decisions, and their entire spiritual trajectory are completely and divinely approved and rightly directed. The very term guidance, huda, is here directly ascribed to their Lord, emphasizing that this direction is not a fleeting, temporary, earthly attainment based on human effort alone, but a continuous, active, and benevolent gift that emanates directly and perpetually from the Creator. This ensures their spiritual journey is not a haphazard wandering, but a purposeful, guarded, and blessed progression toward their ultimate assured destiny. The ultimate crowning consequence of this perfect divine guidance is explicitly and joyously stated, and it is they who will attain their goals. Wa'ula ika humo el Muflihūn. The profound word Muflihūn signifies those who achieve success, who ultimately prosper in the most comprehensive sense, and who successfully achieve their ultimate, most cherished eternal destination. It means they are the ones who have successfully transcended the fleeting, corruptible, and ephemeral nature of the world, and have definitively secured the imperishable, magnificent reward of paradise. Their total, unwavering commitment to the divine blueprint commitment powerfully articulated through their regular, sincere practice of prayer and their compassionate acts of charity. All combined with their absolute, unshakable certainty in the reality of the eternal hereafter, hereafter is their ultimate success, an assured, magnificent outcome, a profound and ultimate mercy from Allah, who is ArRahman and ArRaheem. They have wisely chosen the path illuminated by the wise book, and in doing so, they have chosen the path of permanent, unquantifiable gain over temporary, negligible loss. The hadith on the necessity of intention and sincerity. The initial verses of Surah Luqman establish the immense, foundational value of the sincerity and true nature of the believer's core attributes, particularly the achievement of Ihsan virtue as an essential precondition for receiving Huda guidance. The Muhsinin are defined not merely by the actions they perform, but by the spiritual quality and absolute certainty with which they execute them. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught, "Verily, deeds are only judged by intentions, and verily, every man shall have only that which he intended." So, whoever emigrated for Allah and His Messenger, his emigration is for Allah and His Messenger. And whoever emigrated for worldly gain or for a woman to marry, his emigration is for what he emigrated for. Sahih al-Bukhari, Hadith 1. This paramount hadith, which is considered the very foundation of all Islamic jurisprudence and spirituality, provides the essential spiritual context for understanding the internal character of the Muhsinin described. In the opening verses of Surah Luqman, the virtue and ultimate success of the Muhsinin are rooted in the absolute, unadulterated purity of their intention, niyya. Establishing the prayer and paying zakat only accrue the immense reward promised to the virtuous if they are performed with a sincere, single-minded intention for Allah alone, and with the certainty that He is watching and will justly and completely reward. The external actions themselves are merely the outward signs, but the ilm that saves the soul is the profound knowledge that all deeds are ultimately weighed by the qalb's commitment to Allah's pleasure and the absolute certainty of the return to Him. This sincerity is the very definition of Ihsan and the ultimate non-negotiable key to attaining their eternal magnificent goals. Let us now supplicate, drawing from the profound lessons of these verses, asking Allah to grant us a deeper understanding and to guide our every step. O Allah, ArRahman and ArRaheem, grant us the supreme wisdom of your wise book, making our hearts receptive to your profound guidance and encompassing mercy. Elevate us to the station of the Muhsinin, those whose deeds are pure and whose intentions are solely for your countenance. Establish within us the unshakable certainty of the hereafter, transforming our fear into righteous action and our hope into sincere devotion. Accept our humble prayers and our acts of charity, and by your grace, count us among those who will ultimately attain their eternal goals. Preserve us from all spiritual confusion and make our final return a blessed homecoming in your luminous presence, O most honorable, the all-wise. May Allah illuminate your heart and mind with the light of this divine ill. May He make your channel a beacon of guidance for all who seek spiritual clarity and truth. May your efforts be a source of immense reward, and may you be granted the highest stations of paradise. May the peace and blessings of Allah always be upon you and your loved ones. May He grant you unwavering steadfastness on the path of truth. And may your work be a testament to His magnificent names, ArRahman and ArRaheem. Amin.